All right, guys, here I go again. This is Emmett Stallworth, your Alpha Builder. I just want to come on here right quick, I got a house that I'm doing, guys, and I tell you what, it's probably really, really good because I'm continuing to get more and more content from this one particular house. On this one right here today, and this is good for homeowners as well. I want to talk about some red flags that you would see when you're dealing with subcontractors. And now I'm not saying that this right here this is just these are some items, and I have 4 items, but I'm not saying that you're going to see this right here in all the subcontractors, but some of them may overlap with other ones. But these are some of the things that there ought to be a red flag to go up when you're dealing with subcontractors, especially if you're a residential home builder. These are some of the things that you want to pay attention to and watch. And these ought to just kind of set things in perspective to whether or not you need to hire these guys on your site or not. And I'm not saying just because you see these that you're going to don't do business with them, but just keep these things in mind. First thing is they don't have the money to pay for their supplies up front. Now, there's a reason for that. And there's a couple different reasons that you're going to have subcontractors that's going to be in that predicament. One is they don't have enough floating capital, which means they haven't taken money and put it back into the company to grow their business to where they have money there set aside to do a job or get their supplies and do those things. They just don't, it's not there. And they haven't built that yet. Those guys, they're probably operating from day to day, which in a lot of cases, I can expect that for certain type of subcontractors, but for your mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, the licensed trades, I have a little bit different expectation for those guys. Now, if it was a deck guy or a framer, I don't expect that guy to pay for the framing package or the deck package. I don't expect for him to do that up front. But a plumber, I expect that plumber to be able to go buy his materials, especially if he's a licensed subcontractor. I expect for him to be able to purchase his materials up front. Like I said, there's reasons. So you don't have floating capital. You also don't have credit, which is sort of, that's another thing. So if they don't have credit, say for instance, they don't have credit with a supplier, with their trade supplier. So if you're a plumber, you should have places like V&W or Ferguson that you get all your supplies from. And if you're in other areas of the country, you should have a plumbing supply house that you get all your stuff from. Or if you're an electrician, you should have an electrical supply house that you get your stuff, and you should have credit with those guys so you can buy all your materials on the front end. That way you're not going to the contractor trying to, the contract don't, you don't want the contract trying to figure out what you need because you're supposed to be licensed to do your trade. So that's also another reason they want you to pay for things up front because they don't trust you. So you got those things. So when they don't have the money to pay for items up front, and they want you to write a check for how, most time they want you to write a check to cover the supplies. I would be I'm just talking about the licensed trade guys. I would be really, really eerie. A red flag to start going up if those guys ask me for money. Typically on your MEP, mechanical, electrical, and plumbers, those guys should be able to do the job, and once they get done, make sure everything works right and everything is in place. It gets inspected by the local municipality, etc. Then they should be able to invoice you, and you pay the rest. You pay after you get invoiced, and they should be able to float it for at least 2 weeks, maybe a month. So that's one. That was my one. All right, number 2 is these guys don't have a trade license. You got a plumber come in, want to do plumbing work, and a lot of time these guys work under a master plumber. See, the way it works, guys, is plumbers, they go out here, they learn the trade, they get their journeyman card, which means they worked so many hours under a licensed master plumber. Okay, I'm just using plumber as an example. So it's typically like this with plumbing, mechanical, and electrical. All right, and so these guys, they get the journeyman card. That means they work under a master, and then once they they have so many years or so many hours they got to put in as a journeyman, and they can go take the test. They can go sit for the test for the masters. And a lot of times, these guys, either they don't keep their license up to date, or they got their license revoked for whatever reason, or they, they doing a little side hustle. They may have another job, and then they're doing they pulling permits under another plumber, which you have another master plumber here. This guy don't really have his master's card, so what he does is he go in and pull the permit under another plumber that's licensed. If I were you and I was the homeowner, I'd deal with that master. Don't deal with the journeyman that got his stuff under the master. Deal with the master person, and that's just to save you a lot of headaches. Deal with the person that pulled the permits, because that guy's not, because the guy that's the journeyman don't have anything to lose. He's out here floating around operating. He doesn't have his master's card. He doesn't have it. He may have a journeyman card, but the one that you can go out there and actually do business with is your master's. And if he don't have anything to lose because he's working under somebody, he's not going to put his all in that job. If things go south, he'll walk away because he ain't got nothing to lose. So that's how you know. If they tell you that they can't go pull a permit, but their buddy can pull the permit, run away from those guys. Run away from those guys. The master guys need to be intimately involved in that job site at all times, guys. And I'm really talking about the MEP guys, but I'm not really talking about the say for instance you got a framing crew, and even still those guys should be knowledgeable about framing, but there's no license, by the way, for framing, so that's not one. All right, number 3, those guys don't have insurance. The first thing you should ask if you're a homeowner or a subcontractor, if you're a homeowner or a contractor, general liability insurance. Because if I'm the general contractor and they don't have general liability insurance, that means if anything goes wrong or their workmanship fail, or somebody get electrocuted or something, that falls on my general liability insurance, which is where you don't want to be. You don't want to be there. They need to be accountable. They need to have that stuff up front. So also, workman's comp. If you got over, in the state of Alabama, if you got over 5 employees, you need to be carrying workman's comp. So that's another thing, man. If they're not carrying the insurances that they need in order to do their job, guys, and I'm gonna tell you something else too. These guys are gonna be cheaper. They're gonna be cheaper. The cost is gonna be cheaper. Sometimes they may even be half the amount. But you know something? I would rather pay the full amount and not have those callbacks, or know that if anything goes wrong, that those guys are gonna handle their warranty items and things like that. And they have as much skin in the game as I do. I'd rather pay the full price and have that confidence that those things are handled, instead of dealing with somebody and I get it cheaper on the front end, and then they get me on the back end, because now I got to go out there, I got to go find another plumber, I got to go find another person to come in there and fix what he got. And most plumbers and these MEP guys, mechanical, electrical plumbers, they don't like to come behind other people. They don't like to come behind and do work over somebody else messing up something. And then they're going to come around, they're going to charge you more too. And then they're going to come around and tell you, I told you to go with me the first time. That's what they're going to tell you. So that's 1, 2, 3. So number one was they don't have the money they ask for money up front. Number two is they don't have any licenses. They always trying to pull licenses under another person. 3 is no insurance. That's a red flag. All right, and number 4 is going to be a group of things, guys. And these are things this is like a group of things that you guys need to pay attention to. If you're a contractor, you need to look at their appearance. And people are going to say, man, that's, gosh, there's a couple different things, man. Do they dress? Are they dressed in the trade attire? If you got a plumber out there that's got drip, what they call it, drip, or is this a representation? Is this who you want to come back for a warranty item, and he represent your company? That's what you got to look at. Look at that. Look at that contract. Look at the guys out there doing the work, or even the guy that's the head guy. Is this? Look at how they dress and look at how they talk. Is this who you want represent you? When that homeowner call back and they have a call back, which you will, is this who you want coming out to represent your company? Because they represent you. You got to look at that. Look at the way they act, the demeanor, the way they engage with you. Do they talk crazy? Or they use a lot of curse words and things like that? So you want to look at that. Do they got the proper tools? They showing up with proper tools. They showing up to work. I've had subcontractors come to me and ask me to borrow my hammer. Come on, man. So I just want to do this quick one, man, because guys, we got to do better. We got to pick subcontractors that are savvy. This ain't no subcontractor out here, man. He's just trying to get a quick dollar. I'm probably not the guy you want to work for. I'm not that guy. You trying to get your money quick. Nah, man, this is not how we're going to work. So look at these things. When you guys, before you make sure they produce their licenses. Your mechanical, electrical, plumber, even your general contractor or your home builder. These guys need to produce licenses for you. Put it right in your face. Or you should be able to get their license number and go online, guys. Guys, you got to start using the internet, man. Start looking these people up. Not just hiring people. Oh, man, I got a good deal. He gave me the hookup. We got to get out of that, especially, guys, I'll be honest with you, man. In my culture, man, we have got to get away from that mindset. The mindset of the hookup or, man, I got this on low, and stuff like that, man. That stuff is destroying us, guys. It's destroying us. And if we as contractors and homeowners start having higher expectation on these contractors before we call them out, you know what those contractors will do? Because they'll start getting their act together. They'll start acting right. But when we just kind of let anybody, because we don't know, and guys, there's no reason in today's time to say you don't know. Because all you got to do is take your fingers and start typing. You can go on YouTube, or you get your phone and not YouTube, but you can go on to Google or something. You can look people up. And you can go to the State Department and all these different places and find out whether or not these people are legit. So guys, check these things out. Quit hiring these shady subcontractors, especially when it comes down to mechanical, electrical, and plumbers. These things are almost life-threatening in a house. Your electrical, even if your HVAC is not working properly, it's not pulling the humidity out of the house, and you got mold and stuff, that stuff will kill you. So guys, keep that in mind. Once again, guys, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell button so every time I do a video, um, it'll notify you guys. But make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, but also like it. I don't like it, but hit something, hit that like button, because it helps with the algorithm to send these messages out to other people so that we can all make sure we got good contractors. You guys have a good day, and once again, I appreciate you for stopping on my channel. Thanks.